What is up, guys? It's JB Football here, and today I'll be discussing England's nail-biting win against Denmark. This game was crazy, and I want to talk in depth all about it to you guys. Please remember to like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, comment any tips and suggestions, and let's get right into the video. Okay, this game was pretty crazy, and there's only one place to start, and that's just hats off to Denmark, man. I'm super proud of Denmark and just the whole team in general. I think everyone was rooting for Denmark once that tragedy happened with Christian Eriksen, and to be honest, I didn't have them coming out the group. They lost their best player and they lost their easiest game, by far their easiest game, but they showed true grit to come back and make it to the semifinals of the Euros, which is an incredible achievement for such a small country like Denmark. They just played amazingly. They showed some team togetherness, and they showed grit and heart, as I said, and to go to extra time in multiple games and be able to persevere and find ways to win games is absolutely incredible. They did what I thought Turkey would do, but they were just a lot better side than everyone thought they'd be. Shout out to all their players. I'm going to talk about individuals in a second, but they played truly amazingly throughout this whole tournament. The Danish shouldn't hang their heads in defeat, but celebrate what could only be counted as a victory for Denmark and the whole of football. Yeah, so hats off to Denmark, but now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the stats, the players, everything that I really want to talk about. First, let's talk about how each team set up. Southgate deployed a 4-back, his 4-2-3-1 that he's deployed in a couple other games. He used this one against Ukraine, and it's the same lineup as that one, except he replaced Sancho with Saka. Denmark lined up in their familiar 3-4-2-1, which hasn't changed much since the Finland game, with the exception of Kasper Dolberg coming in for Yusuf Poulsen, but that happened a couple games ago. For Denmark, their key guys, in my opinion, are Dolberg and Damsgaard. These two young guns have been great for them the whole tournament. I feel I've loved Dolberg for ages now, and his FIFA card in FIFA 20, I think it was just insane. It was like this 75-year-old non-rare goal, but he could just hit shots from outside the box, and he just had a rocket. Anyway, he's had 3 goals in his last 3 matches, and he's won them games. Next is Damsgaard. Since Christian Eriksen got injured, he just slotted into that role absolutely perfectly. He looks like a real bright young talent, and I just think he's going to have big clubs sniffing around after this tournament. In this game, he scored a free kick, and we got to see a lot of what he could do. Denmark actually looked a lot less threatening when he came off, and I think that he was one of their key players, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him. And now let's talk about England. As I said, Southgate lined up and deployed a 4-2-3-1. He switched Sancho for Saka, which I thought was a bad move, but it turns out it didn't really matter. Where Saka is good at receiving the ball and traveling down the flank, Sancho is good in possession as well as a creative presence that can pick out passes and make things happen. But it didn't matter, as I said, as England still won this game 2-1 with this lineup. In this game, England did dominate and obviously won, but in the first half, Denmark really did look like the better side. Both teams had 4 attempts on goal and a goal each in the first half, but the second half was remarkably different. Although England didn't score in this half, they had 9 attempts on goal to Denmark's 1. Extra times were all crumbled for Denmark. Their players looked super tired, and after the goal went in, they pretty much gave up. They were barely pressing the ball, and they weren't chasing it, and they let England keep possession, go to the corners, and waste time. Overall, England had 58% possession and 20 shots, whereas the Danes only had 6. Interestingly, for the whole game, Denmark only had 1 shot inside the box. And so it shows that the English defense didn't really allow them to get into great positions to try and score goals. They relied on a free kick and long shots from outside the box to try and win the game. The expected goals was 3.23 to England and only 0.3 to Denmark, even with an own goal for England. What this means is England should have won this game, and thankfully they did. Now let's discuss individual players. I think everyone played well. We didn't have nearly as good of a performance as we had against Ukraine, but we're through to the Euro final, so it doesn't really matter how people played. Here I feel like in this group there was 2 real standouts and then a couple of other good players. Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling were our gems today. Alongside them, I think Shaw, Saka, and Walker played well as well. Game by game, man, Harry Kane has just looked more and more like himself and more lively. His first 3 games were a slow start, as we obviously all could see. He looked isolated, uninvolved, but now he is super involved. He seems to be dropping deeper a lot more in this game. I saw him receiving the ball more and then picking out runners. In the 5th minute, we saw him almost pick out Sterling. Again in the 38th minute, and then a beautiful pass through to Saka is what led to the goal. In this game, he had the most touches of all attackers with 61 touches. He completed 3 key passes and 37 passes overall. He was really involved and was the dictator of play for England. Mount may have been in that key creator cam role, but Kane was taking up his positions and getting the ball into dangerous positions. Oftentimes, I would find him holding the ball, not getting dispossessed and drawing a foul. He was fouled 4 times this game, versus only once against Ukraine. And obviously the penalty. Do I think it was a penalty? Yes, I do. You see his leg come out, it takes Sterling down, and he rightly goes down. His leg didn't get any connection with the ball, so I do think it was a right penalty. And Kane, he gave me that 1 second there in between him shooting and him scoring. I almost had a heart attack. I was so nervous, and when it was saved, I was like, but then thankfully he slotted it in, and the whole country erupted. And even if you guys are gonna say it wasn't a penalty, Kane was fouled in the box and the ref didn't give it, and no one can say that one wasn't a penalty. If you go back and watch, he's clearly pushed down, and that should have been a penalty, but the ref gave this one, I think, because he knew that one should have been a penalty. And even if that one wasn't given as well, England would have scored another goal. If you watch those last 10 minutes, England could have scored 2 to 3 more goals. The amount of times they were getting the ball on a breakaway, and instead of going for a goal, they would go for the corner, was insane. Denmark had no legs, and as I said again, England should have won this game, and Harry Kane was the main man for England. The next person I want to talk about is my man of the match, Raheem Sterling. All you little rats that suddenly turn your back on him should be ashamed now. He's been our best player this tournament. His play was excellent today, in my opinion. He did miss a couple chances, which people are gonna get down on him for, but he did it when it mattered most. He created the penalty, and he was the one in the space that would have slotted that goal home if Kjaer didn't slide and put it in. His numbers in this game were absolutely mental. He had 6 shots, which is crazy by itself, considering that the most of our attackers only had 1. He could have slotted home a couple more of those today, as I said, but the mere fact that he was able to get in good enough positions to get 6 shots off shows how many problems Sterling was able to create for the Danish defense today. But he had 9. Yes, 9 completed dribbles. Kane only had 1. Saka only had 1. Sterling had 9. He wreaked havoc on that Danish defense time and time again. He could just glide past them with ease. In extra time, he was sprinting like he was a substitute. He was tireless and worked super hard this whole game and was rewarded with a penalty. He ran so far to get that ball and then get in the box and then was fouled rightly. This man is right now the player of the tournament. Say what you want, but Sterling is an amazing player and has proved a lot of his doubters wrong in this Euros. So those are my 2 outstanding performances today, but others did have an impact in this game. Saka played well for the 69 minutes he was on the pitch. His dribble and final pass into the box is what created that goal to level us up 1-1. He was fouled 3 times, creating good chances for England in dangerous positions. What I saw from him today was good energy and pace. His pace really helped England, and the Danes were always aware and had to be careful of his threat to make a through run. And his energy he provided, he was always willing to make runs even if he didn't receive the ball, and was always willing to get into those good positions to try and help the team out. Walker was also great today. His pace has been key for England throughout this whole tournament, and you saw it on full display today. His recovery runs to stop runners was crucial in our performance today. Being next to the likes of Maguire and Stones, who are not the fastest, his pace is absolutely key. When we see a through ball played quickly to opponents and to their quick and nimble attackers, or someone makes a mistake, he is able to get into a different gear and get in between the ball and the net to stop a goal being scored. Shaw was also pretty good today. He wasn't in peak Roberto Carlos form. Like I said, no one was brilliant, but they were also all brilliant because they got us to the Euro final. Anyway, Shaw did what Shaw's done for this whole tournament. He ran down that left flank and created chances and was a thorn in the Danish defense's side. His average position was above the halfway line, showing that he was able to get into those attacking positions frequently. He only had one key pass, but he was fouled 3 times, just like Saka, getting the ball into dangerous positions for England or just recovering possession for us. This game we saw him actively defensive though. His 4 tackles and interceptions kept it tight at the back and kept Denmark from scoring any goals or getting into the box even and getting high quality shots off. Shaw played really well today, and I think that he is also, along with Sterling, one of our players of the tournament and is competing with Spinazzola for left back of the tournament. Okay, I've talked about the players now. Now I just want to talk about what this tournament final appearance means to me and the whole country of England. The first tournament I really paid attention to was the World Cup in 2014, which is obviously a real disappointment. In 2016, we all know what happened, the Iceland disaster, another disappointment. 2018, we played pretty well. We got to the semifinals, but again, we disappointed in a game against Croatia that we should have won. Leading up to this tournament, however, the whole country of England was buzzing. We had a more talented squad than we've really ever had in the recent past, and everyone was just super excited. But once those first 2 games had happened, everyone was so negative. Everyone was hating on Southgate, hating on Sterling, hating on Kane, hating on all the players that weren't playing well, and just saying Grealish and Sancho in, which may be right, but they were just so down on this team. But as we've seen in the past couple weeks, they played well and they've got to the final. And now I love what I see in all the Instagram comments. It's not Grealish in, Grealish in, Grealish in, Southgate out, Southgate out, Southgate out. It's come on England, you guys got this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Which I'm super excited about. It's the first final we've been in my lifetime and since 1966, since we won that famous World Cup. Talking to my older relatives, it really has been bad. I didn't really realize that because I've only been around. This is my 4th tournament, so I haven't really known the disappointment. But they tell me every year it's the same thing. England's gonna win. It's coming home. It's coming home, and then they disappoint and lose terribly. I've only really suffered 2 real painful games, which was the Iceland game and the Croatia game. The Iceland game was more disappointing, but the Croatia game I think hurt more because we were so close to the World Cup final. And yeah, I just thought that we could have won that game, but we're here now. We're in the final, and this tournament has united the whole country behind Southgate and behind the players. All the hate has turned into support. Everyone is with you. Come on, England. Thanks for watching, and peace.